The clan of the Smoking Mountain lives in a bowl of paradise. It is a vast green caldera, the collapsed heart of a god that fell asleep long ago. The soil is rich and black. The game is fat and plentiful. The geothermal springs keep them warm in the winter and provide cleansing steam for generations. This has been their Eden, a sacred contract. They give the mountain their reverence, their songs, their small offerings of blood and feathers, and the mountain, in turn, gives them life. Old Man Rua is the keeper of this contract. He is the shaman, his skin a roadmap of wrinkles, his eyes the color of the deep hot springs. His mind is a library of the clan's sacred stories, the ones that explain the world. His animism is the bedrock of their existence. Every rock, every beast has a spirit, and the greatest, most powerful spirit of all is the mountain itself. But the contract is breaking. The mountain is stirring in its sleep. It begins with the water. The clear, sweet streams that flow from the high slopes now taste of sulfur, the bitter tang that sickens the children and makes the animals shy away. Then the earth itself develops a fever. Small, nervous tremors shudder through the ground at odd hours, not the great, solid jolt of a distant quake, but a constant, unsettling vibration, like a great beast dreaming of violence. Pale gases smelling of rotten lightning seep from new cracks in the earth. Rua sees these signs, and his face grows taut with a familiar, holy fear. The god is angry. The clan has failed in its duty. The offerings have been insufficient. The songs have been sung without true heart. He calls the clan together and speaks of appeasement, of a great ceremony, of a worthy sacrifice to soothe the mountain's restless spirit. But there is another voice. Kael is a scout, a young man whose faith is not in stories, but in what his eyes see and his feet feel. His library is the landscape. He has climbed higher on the mountain's flanks than any other, has charted the game trails and the hidden passes. He has seen the new dead zones, wide swaths of forest where the trees are skeletal and yellowed, their leaves choked by the poisoned air. He has seen the herds of great sauropods, the brachiosaurus, abandoning their ancestral feeding grounds, a slow, sad exodus of giants. He stands before the clan after Rua has spoken, an act of quiet defiance. The mountain is not angry, Kael says, his voice clear and steady. It is sick, its breath is poison, its bones are shaking. We have seen sick animals, we know the signs. We do not offer a sick animal a song. We move away from it, so its sickness does not take us. The clan murmurs a sound of profound unease. Rua's story is terrifying, but it is a story they know. It has rules, a path to redemption. Kael's version is a new and shapeless terror. It is the fear of a world without a mind, without a spirit, a world of blind, stupid sickness that cannot be appeased or reasoned with. It is a choice between a god they can bargain with and a monster they can only flee. Rua points a trembling finger at Kael. You would have us abandon our God in its time of need. You would have us be faithless children. It is your lack of belief that has brought this fever upon us. The first schism is not in the earth beneath their feet, but in the heart of the clan. They are caught between two terrifying futures, the wrath of a god or the blind fury of a dying mountain. The mountain's fever worsens. A great plume of steam and ash, grey and greasy, now rises from the central peak, a constant, ugly banner against the blue sky. It hangs over the caldera, and when the wind is wrong, it rains a fine, gritty dust that coats everything in a layer of grey death. The sun is a pale, sickly disk. The days grow colder. The tremors are no more occasional shudders. They are a constant, low-frequency hum, a deep-throated growl that never ceases. The very air tastes of grit and fear. Rua's authority, once absolute, begins to fray. His ceremonies grow more frantic. He leads the clan in days-long chants that leave their throats raw, but the ash still falls. He calls for greater sacrifices. A prize-hunting cat, trapped at great risk, is offered to the smoking peak, its blood staining the grey earth. The mountain does not respond. Its fever only grows. The shaman's face, once a mask of serene wisdom, is now a portrait of desperate, brittle faith. And the hurricane is not listening. Kael, meanwhile, walks. He pushes his body to its limits, exploring the jagged rim of the caldera, searching not for a sign from a god but for a path. He finds one. It is a terrible path, a high, narrow. It is a terrible path, a high, narrow pass on the northern rim, a place the clan has always avoided. The pass is a natural choke point, a wind tunnel into a valley of giants. It is the hunting ground of a creature they speak of in hushed, fearful tones, a giganotosaurus, a predator even larger and more ferocious than the tyrant kings of the south. To flee the caldera is to walk directly into its jaws. He returns to the clan, his body battered but his eyes burning with a pragmatic fire. He gathers the hunters and draws a map in the ash with a sharp stone. Here, he says, pointing to the smoking peak. This is a fire pit. A big one. Soon, the fire will spill over. The shaman's stories say the world was born in fire. He is right. And this is how it will die. He uses the stone to draw the path of what will one day be called a pyroclastic flow, a wave of superheated ash and gas that will scour their paradise clean. Rua's songs cannot stop this. Our spears cannot fight it. Then he draws the high pass and the valley beyond. He scratches the shape of a great predator. This is the way out. It is a hard path, a hungry path. But it is a path. The mountain offers us no path, only a grave. The clan is now really broken possible choices. Rua hears of Kael's map, and his fury is absolute. He confronts Kael at the evening fire, his voice a trembling, prophetic roar. You offer them a demon to save them from a god. You are a serpent whispering poison in their ears. The mountain demands a final gift. A true sacrifice, the greatest thing the clan can offer. A child's life, freely given, to prove our faith. A collective gasp of horror ripples through the clan. He has crossed a line. This is no longer faith, it is madness. But the fear of the god is a deep and ancient root in their souls. They look from the shaman's wild, fanatic eyes to Kael's grim, steady gaze. One offers a nightmare of faith. The other offers a nightmare of reality. They are a people standing on a collapsing bridge between two worlds, and they do not know which way to jump. The mountain makes the choice for them. It comes not as a tremor, but as a tear. A great, deep groan echoes from the earth, and a fissure, a black wound in the world, splits the caldera floor. It is miles long, a jagged, steaming mouth that vomits clouds of sulfur and hot ash. The air becomes unbreathable, a toxic soup that sears the lungs. The ground, now fundamentally unstable, tilts, sending trees and rocks sliding into the newly opened chasm. Rua stands before the steaming fissure, his arms raised, his face a mask of disbelief. He begins a final, desperate chant, his voice a thin, reedy sound against the roar of the dying world. His god has not just refused his offerings, it has shown its ultimate, indiscriminate contempt. His entire cosmology, the sacred stories that gave the world meaning, is being consumed by the raw meaning, is being consumed by the raw, mindless violence of geology. Kael's voice cuts through the chaos, the northern pass. Now there is no more debate, there is no more faith. There is only the brutal, simple calculus of survival. He herds the terrified clan, grabbing children, pushing the stunned and weeping adults towards the high rim. It is no longer an evacuation. It is a desperate, scrambling flight. The journey to the pass is a vision of hell. The ground heaves. The air is a choking fog of ash. The sky, now completely black, begins to rain not dust, but hot, wet clumps of ash and small, searing pebbles of pumice. The sun is gone. A deep, permanent twilight has fallen, a volcanic winter born in a single terrible morning. They reach the pass, their bodies caked in grey mud, their lungs burning. Kael looks back one last time. He sees the mountain's peak swell a monstrous, silent blister on the skin of the world. Then it vanishes in a flash of impossible, silent light. A moment later, the sound wave hits them, a physical blow that throws them to the ground and deafens them. A pillar of blackness, vaster than anything they could have ever imagined, punches its way into the sky, churning and roiling. A sight of such gargantuan, terrifying beauty that it transcends fear and becomes a kind of awe. And it is a face of pure, mindless destruction. They stumble through the pass, a small grey column of ghosts in a grey world. On the other side, the air is clearer, but the danger is of a different kind. This is the valley of the Giganotosaurus. They are trespassers here. They huddle together, a small, fragile knot of life in a world that has been unmade and remade. It is Rua who says them first. The old shaman, his faith shattered, his spirit broken, now sees the world through Kael's eyes. He sees only the raw facts of survival. He spots the beast first, a distant shape, a predator drawn by the chaos. Before Kael can even shout a warning, Rua does something extraordinary. He runs, not away from the beast, but towards it, shouting and waving his arms. It is a sacrifice born not of faith, but of a final, terrible pragmatism, not to a god, but to the simple, brutal mathematics of a predator's hunger. The Giganotosaurus, confused for a moment, turns its massive head and charges the loud, foolish creature. The clan does not watch. They use the precious seconds Rua has bought them to scramble into a deep, defensible ravine. Kael, his heart a shard of ice, looks back only to see the old man disappear into the predator's vast jaws. A final, terrible act of cognitive dissonance resolved. This was their exodus, their fiery birth into a new and harder world. They survived, not because of a stubborn, pragmatic refusal to die. The conflict between Rua's sacred stories and Kael's observed reality was the first great battle for the soul of our species. Kael's victory was not a victory for atheism, but for the profound and necessary idea that when the world itself is trying to kill you, the most sacred act is not to pray to the mountain, but to get off it. This is the moment in the long, dark history of human ancestors that we learned the most important survival skill of all, the ability to abandon a belief that is no longer working. The harrowing escape, paid for in blood and the ashes of their former world, is a testament to the resilience of the human mind and its audacious capacity to choose a terrifying truth over a comforting lie. Because the purpose of the mind is not to believe but to know. And what they would come to know in this new valley would be a different kind of fear entirely.